Today, sick of your pets not pulling their weight around the house? Make them play games for you. This is CheckPoint.
Why?
What? Why did that happen?
Hey! Graham, I'm back!
Hey!
Did you miss me?
The social contract requires I say yes.
Nice!
Yeah, did you miss me? Alright, so everyone's
Adequate.
Contented.
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Good. When Blizzard was gearing up to release the Diablo 3 Ultimate Evil Edition on Xbox One, they were having trouble getting it to work well at 1080p, so they settled for that weird 900p half measure we've talked about before, and it probably looked fine. But Microsoft said no. Or rather, Microsoft said, "This is unacceptable. You need to figure out a way to make..." Microsoft said, "This is unacceptable. You need to figure out a way to get a better resolution." So, Blizzard worked very closely with Microsoft to make sure that the Xbox version of Diablo 3's console release would have just as many Ps as the PlayStation's, which is very mature of them, because if Microsoft told me that my game's resolution was unacceptable, I would have replied by saying, "Well, whose fault is that, butthole?"
Well, after weeks of speculation, paranoia, fretting, worry and hand-wringing about Google taking over Twitch, and what that would mean for if YouTube's particular style of copyright enforcement came to Twitch, wham, wham, wham. Turns out we were worrying about nothing! Today it was announced that Amazon bought Twitch for a cool $971 million, which I can't believe I'm saying this about the number $971 million. Seems low, considering Facebook bought WhatsApp for $19 billion. Scratching your head and saying, what? I don't blame you, but here's why I think Amazon wanted everyone's new favorite website. First and foremost, Amazon is in the business of selling things, and as we've all probably noticed, streamers tend to be pretty good advertising for games and music. It's not much of a stretch to think about a one-click buy this affiliate button coming to Twitch down the line, but that's small stuff. We should also note that Amazon has been aggressively looking to extend their business model from website where you buy stuff to central hub of purchasable content wherever you are. It's a big reason they got into the app business with their own tablets and phones. First, it's a lot easier to take a 30% cut on revenue by providing a platform than to eke out a meager retail profit margin. And second, when you control the platform, you're at far less risk to another competitor rising up and taking your place. Twitch is basically a service platform similar to an app store. Twitch provides the storefront and we the streamers are the product. Apple and Google get a cut every time you buy an app, and Twitch, and therefore now Amazon, gets a cut every time you subscribe to a stream. Next, let's think demographically. There's been a lot of hubbub about changing generational spending habits in the past couple of years, but it comes down to this. Are you a millennial? Chances are you buy less stuff than your parents or Gen Xers. After all, we make less money, live in smaller spaces, have roommates longer, carry more debt, and generally don't want to own a bunch of crap. Millennials are the core demographic of Twitch, so it's a good way to keep getting our money. And finally, I think the real reason Mr. Bezos wanted this deal is that Amazon is what the experts call a Web 1.0 company. Its primary business model, selling you things, isn't based on interaction, engagement, or any other marketing bullshit word that means you use their service because it fills a social need. And remember, there's one thing the largely technologically clueless Wall Street investors and stockbrokers want right now. It's a social Web 2.0 company with a mobile presence. Twitch has a mega social network and is a huge, dedicated, thriving community. On the web, on consoles, and on mobile. That's huge. A strong mobile user base is why Facebook was glad to pay $19 billion for WhatsApp. Amazon knows we're spending less time on our computers and more time on our phones, and their current business is still pretty desktop dependent. Now, all that aside, will this be good for Twitch? They said they picked Amazon because they promised to be hands-off. Let's hope they weren't lying.
A self-proclaimed hacker group calling themselves Lizard Squad was very busy this past weekend, launching distributed denial-of-service attacks on servers for League of Legends, Diablo 3, and Hearthstone, each time waiting until a prominent streamer was trying to play the game for maximum publicity. Lizard Squad went on to target PlayStation Network and then claimed responsibility for forcing an airplane carrying John Smedley, the head of Sony Online Entertainment, to be redirected following a tweeted bomb threat. That's quite the leap, Lizards. Going from DDoS attacks to literal acts of terrorism? You're terrorists now. Congratulations.
All that crazy news getting you down, missing what video games used to be like when you're an innocent kid playing around on a Super Nintendo? Well, here's your moment of zen. Two fish play Street Fighter. The stream is a riff on Fish Plays Pokemon, which was itself a riff on Twitch Plays Pokemon. But unlike those other streams, which are either too gimmicky or too frantic, Fish Plays Pokemon, or Fish Plays Street Fighter is the kind of thing Snoop Dogg would watch if he wanted to unwind. Nothing happens until something awesome happens, which means it's basically the most captivating thing ever. Seriously, the writing of this very story was delayed until the end of a particularly clutch match between E. Honda and M. Bison. And the chat's amazing too. There's a bot that handles betting and chips, so there's a payoff to which fish you become randomly invested in. Honestly, it might be more fun than watching EVO.
John Carmack's son has released his first video game. His 9-year-old son, because nepotism. No, the game is delightfully called Angry Face. And like many games that draw on those that came before it, it's basically Pong, but with ovals and a smiley face instead of 2 bars and a ball. It also includes a grandma difficulty mode at the request of his grandma. When you look at some of the awful news the gaming industry has seen over the past couple of weeks, it's downright heartwarming to hear this simple quote from Ryan: "I enjoy video games a lot, and so I made one." Kid, please keep that feeling. We'll get back into the groove of this when we're back next week with... Darn, it's PAX times next week. Okay, the following week.
Coming up, the Behemoth announces Game 4, and so far all we know about it is it's a six-legged bear crashes into the earth. So, another normal day around video game land. Hooray, we did it!
Kinda.